Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive edition of entertainment news where the unexpected collides with the extraordinary, and today we're diving headfirst into a moment that's got the entire United Kingdom buzzing like a beehive under siege. Picture this. It's a crisp autumn morning in October 2025, the kind where the leaves are turning golden and the air carries that faint chill of change, and on the set of ITV's beloved morning staple Lorraine Kelly's show, everything seems perfectly scripted for another day of lighthearted chatter, celebrity anecdotes, and perhaps a dash of promotional fluff for whatever album or tour is making the rounds. Lorraine Kelly, that Scottish dynamo with her infectious laugh and razor-sharp wit honed over decades of early morning magic, is perched in her signature chair, her blonde bob impeccable as always, ready to usher in her guest of honor, the one and only Petula Clark, the British songbird whose voice has serenaded generations from the swinging 60s to the streaming era. At 92 years young, Petula isn't just a guest. She's a living legend, the woman behind timeless hits like Downtown that still echo through the corridors of pop history, a performer whose poise and professionalism have weathered storms far fiercer than any chat show sofa. The audience, a mix of eager fans clutching mugs of tea and the usual daytime devotees glued to their screens across the nation, leans in with anticipation, expecting the usual glow-up, tales of her latest creative ventures, maybe a snippet of nostalgia about collaborating with Serge Gainsbourg or her Broadway triumphs, all wrapped in that warm, feel-good veneer that makes morning telly so irresistibly comforting. But oh, how quickly the script flips when egos clash and unspoken tensions bubble to the surface like champagne gone flat. Now let's rewind the tape just a smidge to set the scene more vividly, immersing ourselves in the electric atmosphere of the ITV studios in London, where the air hums with the low buzz of pre-broadcast jitters and the faint scent of fresh coffee mingling with hairspray. It's October 23, 2025. Wait, no, the incident actually unfolded a couple of weeks prior, but the echoes are still reverberating as fresh as yesterday's headlines. And the green room is a sanctuary of plush sofas and fruit platters, where Petula Clark arrives not with the fanfare of a diva but the quiet assurance of someone who's seen it all. From the Blitz-era evacuations that shaped her early grit to the psychedelic haze of Carnaby Street in full bloom. She's there to promote her memoir, a tome titled Echoes of Downtown, A Life in Melody, which promises unvarnished truths about her path from child star on BBC Radio to international sensation, complete with black-and-white snapshots of her rubbing shoulders with the likes of Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett. Lorraine's team has prepped the segment meticulously, cue cards scripted with prompts designed to elicit those golden soundbites. Tell us about that magical night in Paris. Or what's the secret to a voice that defies time? All engineered to keep things breezy, ratings-friendly, and above all, advertiser-approved. Petula, ever the pro, scans the cards during makeup, her sharp blue eyes noting the glossed-over edges, the way deeper topics like industry sexism or the erosion of live music venues are tucked away like embarrassing relatives at a wedding. Yet she nods politely to the producers, sips her chamomile tea, and steels herself for the dance, knowing full well that morning shows are less interviews and more infomercials disguised as conversation. To truly grasp the seismic shift that occurred on that fateful set, we must delve into the rich tapestries of these two women's worlds, tracing the threads that wove them together only to unravel so spectacularly under the glare of the lights. Petula Clark, born in 1932 amidst the hum of pre-war England, was a child plucked from ordinary schoolyards into the extraordinary realm of wartime radio, her piping voice a salve for a nation hunkered in bomb shelters, singing Mighty Mouse to wide-eyed listeners tuning in for scraps of normalcy. By her teens, she blossomed into a fixture on variety bills, rubbing elbows with the likes of Morecambe and Wise, but it was the 60s that catapulted her stratospheric, Downtown, that shimmering anthem of urban escape, topping charts on both sides of the Atlantic, followed by a string of smashes that painted her as the British answer to Dusty and Diana, all while navigating the male-dominated machinations of the music biz with a tenacity that belied her pixie-like frame. Marriages, motherhood, forays into film and theater, she juggled it all, from voicing Emma Peel in animated Avengers to headlining Vegas alongside the Rat Pack. Yet through it all, the industry whispered doubts. Too poppy for rock cred, too English for American dominance, and later, too aged for the youthquake of MTV. Fast forward to 2025, and Petula's penning her memoirs not as a victory lap but a velvet-gloved indictment, chapters dissecting the glass octaves that silenced Sopranos post-prime, drawing from personal rebuffs like the 2010s label exec who suggested she rebrand as a cabaret act, while pushing boy bands with half her talent. She's no stranger to confrontation. Recall her 1970s spat with BBC censors over lyrical liberties or her outspoken support for striking musicians in the 80s, always the diplomat with a dagger hidden in her wit. Zooming out from the studio skirmish, the professional aftershocks of Petula's bold exodus send tremors through the entertainment ecosystem, from the hallowed halls of Broadcasting House to the algorithm-driven depths of social feeds, where one woman's walk becomes a watershed for workplace warriors everywhere. Within hours, ITV's switchboards light up like a Christmas tree overrun by elves, viewer complaints mingling with commendations in a cacophony that forces executives into emergency huddles, debating whether to edit the segment into oblivion or release it unexpurgated as must-see TV. They opt for the latter, a savvy stroke that catapults ratings skyward, daytime demos spiking 40% as word spreads via WhatsApp chains and office water coolers, turning a potential PR pratfall into a promotional phoenix. Petula's memoir, languishing mid-chart on Amazon's backlists, surges to #1, pre-orders flooding in from fans galvanized by her gall, while her label dusts off masters for a Defiant Voices compilation, bundling classics with new protest-tinged tracks co-written in the heat of reflection. Lorraine, meanwhile, emerges as the unlikely hero in some quarters. Her post-break monologue, "Passion like that is what makes art alive," earning plaudits for grace under fire, her Twitter flock swelling with #Team Lorraine missives praising her for not crumbling when the script shredded. Yet the backlash bites too. Feminist forums dissect her responses as performative allyship, accusing the show of baiting controversy without backing bandwidth for bite, prompting a defensive tweetstorm from Lorraine herself. Honored to host such firebrands, convo was real, respect to Petula Clark forever. Cross-pollination abounds. BBC Radio 2 dedicates a prime-time slot to Petula's catalogue, presenters pondering if her outburst signals a silver siren uprising, while Channel 4 commissions a docu short on ageism, interviewing vets from Shirley Bassey to Kate Bush on the Clark effect. Beyond the boardrooms and bylines, the Petula-Lorraine imbroglio ignites a bonfire of broader cultural conversations, fanning flames long smoldering in the hearts of societal scrutiny, where age, gender, and the glare of fame intersect like fault lines overdue for fracture. In living rooms from Land's End to John O'Groats, families fracture over dinner debates, grandparents hailing Petula as finally saying what we've all swallowed, while 20-somethings scroll skeptically, murmuring about boomer entitlement in the echo chamber of their feeds, revealing a chasm where generational gripes grate against each other like ill-tuned guitars. Feminists flock to the fray, framing it as Exhibit A in the trial of systemic sexism. Petula's protest a primal scream against the menopause muzzle, that insidious script silencing women mid-career with tropes of temperament, backed by sobering surveys from Age UK showing midlife mavens 60% more likely to be pigeonholed as past peak. Media Mentors sees the teachable torrent, university seminars splicing the clip with Altman's The Long Goodbye monologues on obsolescence, dissecting how Clark's cadence channels Camus-esque absurdity in a consumerist coliseum that devours its deities. Pop pundits pivot to playlists, curating defiant diva sets from Nina Simone's snarls to Madonna's manifestos, positioning Petula's plaint as the latest verse in a ballad of backlash against beauty's brutal expiry date. Even fashion fronts weigh in, Vogue Versailles penning paeans to Petula's post-clash palette, that verdant gown now emblematic of verdant vitality, inspiring autumn editorials on silver sophistication that sideline skinny models for statuesque seniors. Health horizons expand too, wellness warriors wield the walk-off as wake-up, podcasts probing rage as renewal, therapists touting Petula's purge as therapeutic triumph over toxic tailoring, where suppressing spunk for spotlight serenity saps the soul.